All right, let's get started on our public hearing. We've got a lot to go over tonight with storms moving in. I know y'all don't want to be playing around here all night. All right, so I'm going to open up the public hearing on ordinance number 4524, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 4400, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee, by rezoning properties located at East 13th and East 14th Streets, being tax map 100L, Group F, parcels 21, 8, 9, 9.01, 10, 11 from SDLI, Light Industrial Special District, and SD3, Neighborhood Character District, to CD4, General Urban Character District, Ward 2. Anybody in the audience would like to talk about this one? I see none. Anybody in council would like to say anything? See none. Do I have a motion to close? Second. Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison.
Aye.
Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye.
Mayor Mulder.
Motion passes to close. You threw me off, Mayor Mulder. All right, next public hearing on ordinance number 4525, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 4400, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee, by revising the Honey Farm PUD master plan at tax map 51, parcel 58.00, located off of Nashville Highway and Honey Farm Way Ward. Would anybody like the audience to speak?
You had someone signed up.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor. You want to
Gotcha.
recognize them?
Go ahead, Josh. Josh Rowland, come ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice Mayor McBroom and council members. I just want to start out by saying we truly appreciate the dialogue from the work session. I think we took a lot away from that, and I think we started to better explain and the variances that we're proposing, as well as answer some questions. We take for granted that we're kind of in the weeds and understand this stuff, and some of these things are need a little more definition and answer. So we think we owe that same kind of dialogue to the Planning Commission. We feel like that opportunity wasn't had at the time. Since our work session with you all, we have talked with the fire chief. We've talked with some of you after the work session to try to answer some specific questions, and we think we've made some headway. We're working on a final solution with the fire department that's going to make them happy and feel like the variance we're requesting creates a safe environment. And we're also working to with the builder to address the front porches to bring the wall height down on Honey Farm Way. So for those reasons, tonight, when we get to our item, we're going to request a deferral on this meeting. We're also going to request that you send us back to Planning Commission so we can do that, have that same discussion, spend some time answering questions and better explaining the variances, because we feel like we've got a good project. So with that, I just want to say thank you for last week and for your time tonight, and we'll speak again here when our item's up. Thank you.
Yeah, we would not need to do both of those things, because if you defer it, you can only defer it to the next meeting, which would be October, if you choose to refer it back to the Planning Commission. If you choose to refer it back to the Planning Commission, that's the only action you would need to take, because once it goes through the Planning Commission, it would come back to you all in due course whenever they have dealt with the item. So you would not want to defer it and refer it back to the Planning Commission.
Just refer it back to them, then it would go.
Motion in a second, send it back to the
Right.
Planning.
Okay,
That would-
just refer it back to the Planning Commission.
Yes.
And to clarify, the next one is October 9th, and the agenda for that is due September 19th. So we think we're in a good place to be able to
Okay,
accommodate that.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, any more discussion from council? All right, here none. Do I have a motion? Motion is second. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. We close the public hearing. All right, now we'll start our regular meeting. Call to order, please. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Here.
Mr. Green. Here. Ms. Hardison.
Here.
Mr. Marshall.
Here.
Mrs. Wiles.
Here.
Vice Mayor McBroom.
Here.
Mayor Mulder.
We have a quorum. I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. I know we have a a lot on the schedule, but we'll get through it. Next, we'll have the invocation by Mike Mandari of the Calvary Chapel Church, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Danny Coleman. All rise if you can, please.
Well, thank you, Vice Mayor and City Council men and women. And my name is Mike Mondare. I'm the admin pastor from Calvary Chapel, Columbia, and I just want to thank you for the honor of being here tonight. And I do have a scripture I want to start with, if that's all right with everybody. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10. Now I plead with you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and the same judgment. And the reason is, today is 9/12. We commemorated yesterday 9/11. But to me, 9/12 was the day that our country came together. We got rid of our divisions and our issues and our problems, and we came together as a nation. It was, to me, one of the best days of my life to see every church and every parish, you name it, coming together with people packing the doors. And I pray that tonight, as you go forward with what y'all are doing, that you come together as Americans for our country and for our city of Columbia. So, Father, we come before you right now. We thank you for the honor and the ability to publicly call upon your name for wisdom and guidance. And I pray for every man and woman that's on this council here tonight, that you would give them wisdom. Your word declares that if we lack wisdom, to call upon you, and you will freely give it. So I pray for unity within this body. I pray for wisdom for the decisions that they will be making for the people of this city and of this area. And I just ask, Lord, that you would bless each and every one of them. Strengthen them. Lord, if there's any infirmities, I pray that you would heal them. And I pray that your name would be lifted up in all that they say and all that they do. And we thank you in the blessed name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you all for that pleasure and the honor.
You would turn to the back and see an American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for the invocation, and it's not like we got a load on our shoulders now. We got to get our act together. All right. Have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Green?
Aye.
Ms. Hardison?
Aye.
Mr. Marshall?
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles?
Aye.
Vice Mayor McBroom?
Aye. Motion passes. Now we have presentations. The quarterly presentation by Will Evans of the Chamber. Mr. Evans, please.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, members of council. I'm very happy to be here. Things hot this evening. You guys do have a presentation that was emailed to you, just a few pages, and then also a handout that I believe Liz distributed prior to the meeting that we'll be going through. So if you guys want to go ahead and go to the second page of the document that was sent to you, you have our September economic development dashboard that represents our economic metrics as of the end of August and beginning of September. I will talk just a little bit, looking at the top, you have our active pipeline of projects. That is still remaining steady at 18. You will notice if you compare month over month, the potential new jobs did go up a little bit, indicating just a couple of medium-sized projects coming in place of some others. We'll continue to emphasize we have a healthy mix of those considering to relocate or new businesses to the community, 50% versus 50% of businesses that are already here in the community that are considering expanding. So we always, while we welcome new business, always like to see our businesses that are here continue to be successful. And then you'll see on the far right, the diversification of the pipeline continues to remain healthy and mixed. And then I will just use this point as well to go ahead and continue our emphasis on our strike zone recalibration that we did go through last year. We continue to remain strong and focused on working and expending our resources as an organization towards those projects that are going to be responsible stewards of the community's infrastructure, that are going to diversify our economy, and that are going to provide higher wage opportunities. Again, we are continuing to focus in on that, and then that has really impacted the amount of RFPs that we are proactively submitting as an organization to make sure that we are completing that. The only thing I will note is the unemployment rate for July. If you put that, or if you notice that did jump a bit. We were just under 5%. It's interesting that that's an alarming number at 5% when used to that was considered kind of that 4% was full unemployment. But I do want to say that this was just an anomaly, really kind of a perfect storm of two things. These are July numbers. So in the summer months, you do typically see a slight uptick in unemployment rates, just with some of the seasonal jobs. However, there was a period of 2 weeks in July where General Motors did go through a shutdown for retooling purposes. And because that was a 2-week period, the employees were able to file for unemployment to receive compensation during that time. Whereas the previous years, I think they did that for about a week at a time when PTO was used. So it was just, we anticipate when those August numbers come out here in a few weeks that'll kind of go back down to that lower levels that you see there, that 3% or so. So I didn't want to address that head on. Just a couple of items, and then we'll talk about the education report. So just staff updates. I believe earlier this year we shared that Rupert Deloach joined our team. She had previously worked for us, I believe back in 2018 on a consulting capacity part-time. But she has since, at the beginning of this month, actually joined us in a full-time capacity as our Director of Economic Development. So she will be focusing in on the day-to-day project management, leading a lot of that activity in order to allow Travis, and as we continue to grow that team, some additional capacity to take on some more strategic initiatives. And then also, we were very fortunate to be selected by the TVA Economic Development Department to be a case study or a beta test for their TVA Talent Accelerator Program. And so this is where they bring in a consultant to evaluate our workforce as a community, our workforce ecosystem. And as part of this pilot program, we were used as one of the test scenarios, one of the only communities in the state of Tennessee that got selected to do this, by the way. But we worked with Hickey Global Associates, which is a national site selection and consulting firm. It came in and performed an analysis over about a period of day and a half of our workforce ecosystem in the county. This was very timely because we did go through this process back in 2020 with our Align Murray program. So this allowed us to kind of look at what we've been doing with that program here, 4 years later, give us an opportunity to recalibrate what we're doing with that as we're moving forward. So we should anticipate the results for that here in the next month or so. But really brought that forward because they spent a day and a half immersed in our county. We were very fortunate enough. They stayed in downtown Columbia in a few Airbnbs that were located here. We were able to take them. We went to Ransom Spirits and Provisions for dinner one night and cocktails. And these are, I believe the principal lives in Manhattan. And so it was very nice. They were very impressed with the whole county, but really they had a lot of great things to say about Columbia and the revitalization and the activity that was going on here. So we were very excited, and I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that. And then while they were here to focus on workforce development, they are also a site selection firm and work projects across the country, big projects that we like to see. So we've now got a strong relationship. We've been able to develop that relationship, and they are very familiar with our community. And then finally, I'll talk just a little bit about the document that was handed out. This is our inaugural public release of our annual education report. We released this back in late August with our education lunch and had Superintendent Ventura as well as two of her senior employees as well as Doug Lukonen on a panel to talk through what we have here and continue the dialogue on improving education. So just a little bit about why we put this together. Over the last few years, our membership has identified that improving K through 12 public education should be a top priority of our organization because of the impact that it has on the economic vitality of our community. So we have been doing this to partner with them This is an important first step because if we're going to focus on making improvements, and it's important to kind of take a snapshot and see where we are today so we can know how to move forward. All this data is currently available to the public, but it can be kind of hard to trudge through online, so we put it in one centralized location and then trended it over a year-over-year, 3-year, and 5-year trend. We wanted this to be non-biased as well for the system, and then, while this is just a snapshot, this is in by no way no means to tell the entire story of our system. So I want to be very clear about that. In fact, we've already engaged with conversations with the school system to identify areas where we can add data to this that may not be available at the state in order to tell a more complete picture. So what you have, I will not go through it line by line, but beginning kind of on pages 3 and 4, you'll see a breakdown between students and operations. So the students section of this report looks at the demographics of the student, and this is for the 2022-2023 academic year, which was the most recent data that is available for everything that we have here. We will be updating that as soon as all this data is available for the 23-24. So we looked at the demographic makeup of the student population. Then on the next page, you'll see the academics. So we looked at ACTs and other proficiency rates, as well as TFOS rates for the district. And then if you go to the next 2 pages, we looked at the operations. So student-teacher ratio, teacher retention rates, and then we also looked at the budgets over those same years. So we can just kind of get a snapshot of what the county budgets were, what's the impact of the education budget on Maury County operations. So I did want to highlight back to the academics, just some of what we've seen there. Now we'll point out, the red is showing a decrease, the green is showing an increase in the circles there, and that's the current measure. So while the average ACT scores have been trending down, it's important to really note that the proficiency for English language arts, math, science, and social studies have all been trending up over the 5-year period, as well as the TVOS growth. We have made tremendous strides there in the year over year. And I'm excited to say that we did actually have a meeting with the school system and Superintendent Ventura, and all these proficiency scores, that data has been released, and we've reviewed that, and those are continuing to trend in the positive direction. So we're excited to get this out, use it to drive a conversation around improving education, and continuing to put this out annually. So just wanted you guys to have a copy of this, which is also available on our website.
What is your recommendation? I mean, looking at this, I got 10 questions right off the bat. I know you're not the one to answer.
Sure.
What should we do to call the school system or school board member or on these some of these figures that we are seeing here?
Sure. As far as, I think we're happy to kind of dive into some of the data that we have, but as far as, driving forces behind it and what plans are, absolutely the school board and school system would be the best resource. And those who were present at that lunch, that's some of the conversation that we had. So I think they're open to having those conversations. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just seeing some figures here that I didn't, things aren't jumping out or increasing as much as I thought they were in some areas, and I will say with the 2023-2024 data that those trends from what we've seen so far are continuing to move forward. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I'll do that.
Sure.
I'll talk to them.
Okay. And with that, I'll take any additional questions the council may have.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor McBroom. I'm not here to answer those questions. That was my other job. So, I'm sorry. Is it on? I'm sorry. I'm not here to answer those questions. But many of those numbers, data points, and things like that, I am very familiar with. That was my job for years. And they do take explanation in terms that we can understand. Something that stood out to me when I was just glancing at hers, I kind of put mine away, was there was 2 I was looking at. If you track across the trends, absenteeism stands out tremendously. We had a tremendous jump in absenteeism, and that's the kind of thing that you immediately can pick out and say, what can we do? How can we encourage things? And somebody already has a grant that's providing, maybe it's, I'm not sure who it is now, but there are lots of things going on. But that's an example of how and what you can do as you find out that weak point. And I'm sorry I could go on, but I won't.
And that was our intention with this, was to just bring the data forward in a manner that drives conversation, brings us to the forefront, because we can't make improvement without knowing where we are.
Councilman Coleman?
I was supposed to say, because absenteeism stuck out to me as well, and I'll just say, I know it was just, I guess on Tuesday, I believe it was, where there was some rumors that were going around. I know a good handful of folks who kept their kids home
Yeah.
from school. So, I mean, I think between what happened, what COVID did to us, and then gun violence in general, specifically in our state, I think it creates a culture where parents are rightfully so keeping their kids back. So I think that it's important that obviously we do what we can at a local level, but that we also do what we can at a state level to improve what the culture is for our kids to want to go to school and feel safe there. So it's definitely something I think has an impact. So it's sad to see those numbers, but I'm sure that our community can respond to it. Confident about that.
And one thing we've found consistent across all this in our conversations is there's not really a single factor when it comes to these. It's there's a lot that comes into play with what's going on here.
Any more questions?
I do that going back to the economic stuff. I wanted to see if you could speak a little bit to Fiberon and what happened with that building and maybe what might be going on with that location now.
Sure. So, again, just to reiterate, that they did decide not to move forward with that project. I think we talked about that last time we were here, but I won't rehash all of that. That building is on the market. We are working with the ownership as well as the state of Tennessee and our partners at TVA to bring in a project that would be a good fit for that building and a good fit for the community. We have seen a lot of activity on it, early stage activity, which oftentimes takes a long time to get to that real serious. But we did actually engage in more of a proactive manner with that. And then also the building on 981 Industrial Park, we remember Smile Direct was located, and hosted some brokers as well as TVA and state economic development project managers in so they could see that these two really nice assets that the community has. So we're working as diligently as we can to fill those. And I can say that they are both seeing activity at this point, which is promising.
Excellent. I mean, you guys are always doing a great job. That's definitely not anything ever in doubt.
Sure.
Also, I guess, do you see any similarities between both Smile Direct and Fiberon doing that? I mean, to have moved here and then, or to halfway move here and then to leave makes me wonder how those numbers work for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, when they get to that point of their decision, we don't get to see too much behind the curtain of why it was made. We're just kind of given their statements that they were prepared, especially being publicly traded companies. I think Smile Direct, for what you saw in the media, that one was pretty apparent. But the Fiberon, I think we don't really have a clear cut other than they've just made it. They were able to consolidate into some of their other facilities and improve efficiencies there, is what they stated.
Gotcha. Okay. Just a quick note. First of all, congratulations on the TVA program. I'm glad to hear that sounds like a really good thing that we're doing. You said the report's going to be coming out later. Is that correct?
So part of it we will be releasing forward facing, and then part of that is also going to be just an internal strategy document that we have. So there will be some opportunities for some of the findings to come out. As I don't want to speak specific to the timeline, as I don't remember exactly, but I'd say within the next month or two.
Okay. So you think maybe at the next update we might be able to hear something about it?
Possibly, yeah.
Very interesting. I was at a TVA seminar, economic development, not too long ago. And,
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of interesting questions there raised.
Sure.
Last thing I have for you, I always have a lot of questions for you, is if it's possible, and I know graphically, you guys have such good graphic representations. The unemployment rate graphic is really great because we're able to see the last year behind it. If it's possible for us to get that for anything else, like either for year-to-date housing permits or housing prices, definitely for sure.
Yeah,
I know personally, at least I'd be interested in being able to kind of see that comparison.
Look to trend it. Yeah. Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you, always will.
Thank you. Ms. Coleman?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
One more question, Will, and it does concern that TVA workforce development. Back in 97, 98, right before the 20 thing, I did some kind of a initial great survey for business and industry as to what they were looking for, what would they need in their workforce in the coming years, and we applied it then to our schools and things like that. Of course, that was 24 years ago. Describe what they're looking at. What did they look at? Did they look at the capacity to provide the workforce or the skills needed?
So what they are doing a off-site, a lot of desktop review of data, and I think that's diving into that we haven't seen exactly. But what they were doing in this day and a half is we arranged peer groups with the education providers in the county, some of the employers within the county, and various groups that impact. I think it was education, and it was also like the workforce services, so like the job centers and all that. So they're just really trying to understand, what is the ecosystem here, K through 12 all the way through post-secondary. I think we had somebody from Tennessee Southern as well in that. So they were just trying to understand during that visit, and then they'll go collaborate that with the data that they've pulled, I think, to kind of.
A good example of that is Megatronics. Back when we did that, like in '97 or something, that word nobody knew, including me, what Megatronics meant. We were just excited because Williamson County had a Megatronics, whatever, and now it's everywhere. I know in reviewing some things this week for the Education Foundation, those are active programs now here 24 years later. So I was wondering if that's what that led to.
Sorry, I do have one last one. Is just, I guess this information, obviously, I'm sure you're sharing it with all the stakeholders, like the school board and things like that. Is there any other kind of further work you guys are doing with the school board on any of this? Like, is there any insights that you guys may have got that you're sharing with the school board to implement anything or for them to create any kind of policies?
So, obviously you've got some new members on the school board now. Where we've started is we actually had a meeting this morning with Superintendent Ventura to kind of revisit some of this data and to kind of start that conversation about, what can we do as the business community to help support this. So I think that will likely evolve into some things you're talking about there.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
Great.
Anybody else?
I'll go before Danny comes up with another question. No. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Appreciate it. All right, we'll go to organizational business. Approve the minutes of the August 8th, 2024 City Council meeting.
So move.
Have a motion second. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom.
6.2, approve the mayor's appointment of Zach Hooten to the City of Columbia Historical Zoning Commission to fill an unexpired term ending on October 12th, 2027. I talked to Mr. Hooten, said he had till today to get out. He has not called me, so he is ready. But he is going to be a good one. He is excited about helping the City of Columbia. We'll have a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion second. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. Next on the consent agenda, I'm going to take out 7.9 on the consent agenda so we can have just 1 minute of discussion on it. All right. All right, acknowledge receipt of, we'll start on 7.1, acknowledge receipt of Form CT 0253, report on debt obligation for the General Obligation Bond Series 2024. 7.2, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia and Music City Publications in the amount of $8,500 for advertising in Murray County Living and Williamson County Living magazines for 5 issues. 7.3, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia and True Omni in the amount of $26,750 for an interactive indoor kiosk that includes hardware, software, and maintenance support to be located in the Columbia Welcome Center. 7.4, authorize the mayor to sign an amendment to agreement with Vulcan Construction Materials, LLC, extending deadlines for the realignment of Columbia Rock Road and other conditions of the conditional use permit 220183 as approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals in January 19, 2023 and modified by the Board of Zoning Appeals on August 15, 2024. 7.5, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia and Lifestyle Publication for advertising in the November and March issue of Franklin Lifestyles in the amount of $2,808. 7.6, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia, Placer Labs Incorporated in the amount of $24,000 for the research data using location metrics, visitor data, marketing insights to generate custom reports. 7.7, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia and Alexander Booz of East Coast Contessa in the amount of $3,500 for a holiday 2024 social media influencer marketing campaign. 7.8, approve change order number 3 with NNS Waterproofing LLC for the City of Columbia Park and Garage Rehabilitation Project, with increases the contract amount $42,350 and adds 14 days to the contract time. 7.9, approve the mayor execution.
That's the one you asked to have removed.
Oh, okay, sorry. 7.9 removed. Thank you. 7.10, approve and authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Kimley Horn and Associates in the amount of $75,000 for providing professional services for the addition of 2 access points to accommodate 2 paddlecraft launches along the Duck River within Riverwalk Park. 7.11, approve and authorize the purchase of a 2025 Ram 2500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4-wheel drive from Columbia Dodge in the amount of $50,789.25 utilizing statewide contract. And approve and authorize execution of a 36-month lease agreement with Southern Duplicating for 3 color copiers with an estimated cost of $13,704 annually. And 7.13, approve the annual renewal of cyber insurance with Tokyo Marina HHC and payment of premium to insurance broker in the amount of $24,143. If this is the first time y'all been here, and I should have announced this first, we have gone over all this stuff at our study session. It seems like I'm rambling through them, but we've already studied all these things, and if somebody had a problem, they would want me to pull it out, and we'll discuss it. So, and that's why we pulled out 7.9. So, do I have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Aye. Mrs. Hardison. Aye. Mr. Marshall. Aye. Mrs. Wiles. Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. Now, on 7.9, I pulled it out because we have some good news. Approve the mayor executing an agreement with the United States Army Corps of Engineers regarding planning assistance to the state's flood preparation plan phase 2. City man.
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. I think I'll just ask Douglas, our Assistant City Engineer, if he'd come forward. You recall last week when the presentation from the Corps of Engineers, they were hedging their bets a little bit on funding availability, but Doug, you had a very positive conversation with him. I understand, so turn it over to you.
Good evening. I'll just read it straight from the horse's mouth from Peter Carr, who was one of the presenters last week. I have some good news on funding and follow up on a few items in case the mayor or anyone on council is curious. Please inform the mayor that we will be receiving FY25 funding so long as the agreement is executed by the 6th of October. So that was approved by HQ, and as long as the agreement is executed and sent to them by October 6th, we are good to go.
So it'll be fully funded?
Yes, it will be. Excellent. And to answer the question, the mayor had a question about the invoicing and the funding. That does not have to be in a 100% lump sum. We can work with the Corps to pay as we go in that regard.
Yeah, I think that's what we did with the last study, too.
Okay.
Thank you. That was good.
You're welcome. Yes.
Any more discussion? Have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Aye. Ms. Hardison. Aye. Mr. Marshall. Aye. Mrs. Wiles. Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, under administration, we do not have anything. We'll start with resolution. Resolution 9.1, resolution number 2461, a resolution to accept the ownership and maintenance of sewer improvements serving Summit at Carter Station East Phase 4.
Second.
Have a motion second. Vote, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Aye. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Aye. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Next on the agenda is 9.2, resolution number 2463, a resolution to ratify the authorization of the City of Columbia to apply for the 2024 Blue Cross Health Places Grant, accept the grant award for up to $1 million, and authorize the mayor to execute documents related to accepting and administering the grant project.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. City Manager?
Yes, I'd like Mac Reagan, if you don't mind, to come back up. Of course, Mac explained this grant application to you last week, but I think there's a little bit more additional information I think the council would like to hear as far as how many pickleball courts, tennis courts, that sort of thing. So, Mac, if you just take a minute.
Yes, I contacted NRPA earlier this week and asked them if we could get the up-to-date formula for figuring out economic impact. And this pickleball will fit into that, being at Ridley, the location. It will not only be for our local use, it'll be for our locals to form tournaments and things like that. With the new formula that came in, we're bringing in right now about $23 million in economic impact at Ridley Park, along with PGF Premier Girls Softball bringing in about $20 million a year. So this will fit really into what our scope of play is at the original when we opened up Ridley Park, and it'll continue to add to that. Maybe it'll get us to that whopping $30 million soon.
And how many pickleball courts and tennis courts?
This will be 12 pickleball courts, 6 tennis courts. They will be separate. They won't be played on the same surface, but we could use them for other activities. If we wanted to have a 3-on-3 type tournament, we could pull, portable basketball goes out there and play on them. So there's a lot of things we can do with it. But with the way pickleball has grown and has been, I think that we will fill these courts up day one.
Well, I can attest to that because I was fortunate enough, my daughter played in the tournament this last weekend, and I'd say probably through the weekend, at least 500 people came through there.
Yes, it's a growing population.
Positive, music was playing, everybody was happy and having a good time.
And if it's going to be in Columbia, let's be honest, it needs to be in Columbia Parks and Rec facility.
And we have the facility and we have the ability to do it.
Absolutely, sir.
And my daughter won a gold medal.
Congratulations.
It is important to win, sir.
It is important to win. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back.
All right, motion and second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. 9.3, Resolution 2464, a resolution to ratify the City of Columbia's application for the 2024 Health Built Environment Grant, accept the award and authorize the mayor to execute documents related to the accepting and administration of the grant project.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? See none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Next, 9.4, resolution number 2465, tax corrections.
Move to approve.
Motion is second. No discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. 9.5, resolution number 2466, a resolution to ratify the City of Columbia's application for the 2024 Underrepresented Communities Grant Program, accept the grant award not to exceed $43,921, and authorize the mayor to execute documents related to accepting and administrating the grant project.
Move to approve.
Motion is second. No discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. 9.6, resolution number 2468, resolution authorizing the City of Columbia to apply for the State of Tennessee Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program. Imminent threat, accept the award, and authorize the mayor to execute documents related to accepting and administrating the grant project.
Move to approve.
Motion second.
Vice Mayor, we didn't discuss this last week, but I'd like to ask Chief Cummings if he could come and just give a brief explanation of what this grant application is for, and also kudos to Councilman Coleman for helping actually put the application together.
That's correct. Good evening, Vice Mayor, members of council. As you all know, on May 8th, we had an event affect our community that folks are still recovering from, and I can't help but think that maybe some of those folks are still a little apprehensive tonight, as in the next 36 hours where you have the high potential for spin-up tornadoes off of this hurricane system that's coming through. So with hopefully with this and everything going through on this grant, we can, in the very near future, can have a early warning system, all comprehensive layered early warning system that will notify and protect our community and give them a little bit more knowledge of what's going on before the event takes place. So very excited about this, and it's something that we definitely need in our community and is well warranted.
I believe this is a 100% grant with no match required too. Is that right, Chief?
That's correct.
No. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
I'd like to add, just it's been a real pleasure. There are 4 grants on here with my new role at South Central Tennessee Development District. Kudos to Miss Lori Fisher, who's incredible at her job and helped bring a lot of these to the attention. But staff has been excellent to work with. Chief Cummins, Kevin McCarthy, Mac Reagan, obviously several of y'all. Like this is incredible work that we're doing here. And this one specifically, I thought as you did, Chief, about this tornadic activity coming through now. Wish that we already had this in place, of course, but I think that it'll be incredible. I remember that day my daughter said, when I picked her up from school, she said, I didn't hear any tornado sirens. And I was like, oh, I thought we had some. And I guess I believe we only have the one over by the college. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so hopefully we'll be able to get something more comprehensive so everybody around knows
Yes, sir.
something serious is happening. So,
Yeah, multi-layered warning system is what we're looking at for sure.
so I just want to say we have an outstanding staff, and I'm not biased at all, but they've been great to work with.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we'll move to ordinance. Ordinance 10.1, second consideration of ordinance number 4513, ordinance to amend ordinance number 4176 by repealing and replacing the access management plan with new access management plan.
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Which ones do we need?
We have those outlined. You'll get to them. I'll point them out.
Okay.
Yeah, we have several of these that we're going to request deferral on. This is not one of them.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on this one? I see none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passed. Ordinance 10.10, second consideration, ordinance number 4514, an ordinance to amend Columbia Municipal Code by deleting Title 14, Chapter 4 pertaining to stormwater management regulation in its entirety and replacing such section with a new Title 14, Chapter 4 pertaining to stormwater management.
Move to approve.
Have a motion second. Any more discussion? None. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. You want to lump these, city manager? You wanna lump
You'll have
these
to vote
together?
on them individually, Vice Mayor.
To defer.
Yes.
Okay. All right. On number 10.3, second consideration, ordinance number 4514, an ordinance amending ordinance number 4400, same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee, regarding administration, procedure, and enforcement of Article 8 by repealing and replacing such Article 8 with the new Article 8, administration, procedure, and enforcement.
We need a motion to defer it. And Paul, could you come forward and just a brief explanation why Development Services is asking for these? I think we have 5 of them in total. Well, defer to next one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. We appreciate your patience with us as we go through these amendments. We've been at this for quite a few months in various articles. And as we go through this one, this was by far the largest grouping of amendments. And just for you to know, this is a little bit under 500 pages that we're completely reformatting. And it's a very complex format with regards to the layering of it. And we just stepped back a little bit after the first vote as a group collectively said, well, we want to make sure this gets right. We don't miss anything. Nothing's hidden somewhere, and give us time to flip through page by page, make sure this is matching exactly the recommendation coming out of Planning Commission. So that is why we're requesting any of the items that are dealing with the zoning ordinance in particular outside of the fee schedule be deferred till next month.
It'll be 10.3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We've got them identified, Vice Mayor, each one of them.
Yes, sir.
So
8 would move forward.
I think that one's okay.
Just, okay. 10.3 for 10.7,
And then 10.9.
10.9.
We have them identified.
Well, see, I don't have it on mine. I kept wondering what you were saying.
All right.
All right.
Make a motion to defer?
We have a motion to defer.
Second.
Motion second. No more discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. 10.3 is deferred. 10.4, second consideration of ordinance number 4516 as amended, an ordinance amending ordinance number 44 being the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee regarding building, lot, and building site standards in Article 4 by repealing such article and replacing such article with a new Article 4 building, lot, and building site standard.
Motion to defer?
Second.
Got a motion to defer and second. No discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. 10.4 is deferred. 10.5, second consideration of ordinance number 4517 as amended, an ordinance amending ordinance number 4400, same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee regarding development parcel standards in Articles 5 by repealing and replacing such articles with new Article 5 development parcel standards. Do we have a motion to defer?
Motion to defer.
Have a second. Got a motion second? Tony second. No more discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. 10.6, second consideration of ordinance number 4518, an ordinance amending development service planning fee schedule for the City of Columbia, Tennessee citywide.
No, this one's okay. Go ahead and make a motion.
Motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. 10.7, second consideration ordinance number 4519, an ordinance amending ordinance number 44, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee regarding supplement standards in Article 6 by repealing such article and replacing such Article 6 with a new Article 6 supplement standard.
Motion to defer.
You got a motion for a second? No discussion, roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. 10.8, second consideration of ordinance number 4520 as amended, an ordinance to amend the Columbia Municipal Code by repealing and replacing Title 14, Chapter 5 pertaining to the engineering standards and specifications.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and second. Discussion? None. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
I do believe Mr. Kellner had something to say.
You got something to say on this one? I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll come forward. I'm sorry.
We're on 10.9, right?
10.8.
10.8.
Sorry about that. This was one that we were asking for just a little bit of clarification on the amendment from the first reading. While the amendment, we were pretty clear what the intent was on that. The table reference was to the zoning ordinance, and this is dealing with the engineering standards and specifications. But from what we understand is that the amendment for this particular ordinance was to remove the rural neighborhood roadside ditch section from that list. We just wanted to have that cleaned up into this motion as well for 10.8 because the original motion in the first consideration would not apply. That table does not exist in this ESS standard.
So what we're doing is it's almost like a first consideration.
Yes, sir. While we understood what you meant,
Are you amending on the second reading?
Yes, sir. The amendment can still take place, but it would be just to clarify that you are requesting for the rural neighborhood roadside ditch to be removed from the engineering standards and specifications.
Well, that's what we wanted.
Yes, sir.
So then we need to defer this, correct? So give
No,
them more
you just
time?
need to state
Just
the
to
amendment.
make the amendment that Paul just stated, motion to approve based on this amendment.
The rural neighborhood roadside ditch.
All right, I believe it was Councilman Marshall who made the motion.
Make that motion.
Yes. Make a motion for the rural.
Get the part.
To remove the roadside ditch.
The rural neighborhood roadside ditch section.
Neighborhood roadside ditch.
That's a tongue twister, Paul.
I'm going to second that motion.
We got a second. All right, we got a second. Any more discussion on 10.8? All right, I see none. Roll call now.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Aye. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. 10.9, second consideration on ordinance number 4521, and ordinance amending ordinance number 4400, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee regarding zoning map in the Article 2 by repealing such article and replacing with such Article 2 with new Article 2 zoning map.
Motion to defer.
Motion to second. See no discussion, roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Now we're on 10.10. 10.10. All right, 10.10, second consideration ordinance number 4522, and ordinance amending ordinance number 4400, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee regarding definitions in Article 9 by repealing such article and replacing such Article 9 with the new Article 9 definition.
Motion to defer.
Second.
Motion to second. No more discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. So we'll have to read all those again next month.
Maybe you won't have to.
Yeah, maybe I won't have to.
Maybe you will.
Yeah, maybe I will. It's fall break.
That's what.
It's fall break.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. 10.11, first consideration of ordinance number 4524, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 44, the same being the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia, Tennessee by rezoning properties located at East 13th and East 14th Streets being tax map 100L Group F parcels 21, 8, 9, 9.01, 10, and 11 from SDLI and SD3 to SD4.
It's just,
You want to have a motion to
Have a
second
motion
first
first,
and
yes,
discussion?
hold on.
Yes.
Yeah,
So you need a motion.
Do we have a motion approved? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
yes, now,
Ms. Wild?
yes,
like
sir,
to have
thank
Paul
you.
come
I'd like
forward?
for Paul to come up and talk about this one just a little bit. Thank you so much.
Paul, if you can come forward, please. Explain this for council. It's a rezoning request.
Yeah, so this is a combination of multiple lots there, as you heard in the parcel number. So I believe there's about 6 parcels there. The majority of those are actually zoned currently SDLI, so light industrial. There is one parcel in there that has a CD3 designation. They are requesting to go to the CD4 for the entire parcel combination there. That's just a hair over 2 acres combined. They do have plans for, on the East 14th Street side, to construct a small section of townhomes there that you can see in the concept. They have no plans right now for the 13th Street side at this time, but they were all together, all under the same ownership, and was asking for it just kind of come to as one big grouping there. This did come forward with a recommendation of approval from Planning Commission.
Sounds like a good infill project.
Yes, sir. It's cleaning up a little bit of old industrial zoning along the railroad track area and things, so it's definitely heading in the right direction.
Oh, we have. We have a motion.
I think you've got some in the audience, however, he did.
I don't know what the protocol was. I live on 13th. I got the place.
But you did not sign.
Here or what?
Well, sir, I'll tell you what, since you did not sign up to speak tonight, if it passes tonight, it'll be back on the agenda next month. And so if you sign up then, there would be an opportunity for you to speak
Where you
and
sign
ask
up?
questions. It's
When-
out front when you first
when you
come into
came
the
in.
meeting, when you first come in. Yeah.
Okay, I'll wake up then.
Well, you didn't know.
Thank you.
Put a sign up, say sign in where it can.
All right, next on the agenda. 10.12. Oh, I'm sorry.
You gotta have a
All
motion
right.
in a second.
I got a motion, we had a motion.
You gotta,
in a second.
yeah, you gotta vote on it.
No more discussion, roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye, motion passes. 10.12, first consideration ordinance number 4525, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 4400, the same being the zoning ordinance of the city of Columbia, Tennessee, by revising the Honeymarn PUD master plan at tax map 51 parcel 58.00 located off the Nashville Highway and Honey Farm Way.
Motion to refer back planning commission.
We have a motion referred back to Planning Commission. Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I see none. Josh, you good? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye, motion passes. 10.13, first consideration of ordinance number 4526, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget ordinance number 4503, providing for revision to the general state street and drug sanitation capital projects grants wastewater funds, established the date of October 10th, 2024 as the date of public hearing.
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. No discussion or any discussion? See none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Motion passes. I don't think we have any other business, no executive session. Before we adjourn, let me do some speaking on the upcoming events. Well, first we had 9/11. Chief Cummins did a great job on that. We appreciate that. It was a good job. And it's ironic, as we were going to the meeting, the fire trucks were going to the problem. And that gives you an example of what these guys do every day. Thank y'all. And the police department's 10th annual community event is at the Riverwalk, September 24th from 5 to 7. Make sure y'all come to that because it's always real well done. They feed you. It's always good. And they'll have stuff for the kids to do, so make sure you're there. And the employee annual picnic, Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024 at 11 to 1 at the Riverwalk at the Farmers Market. So it's fun to see that we're using the Riverwalk so well. So, do we have any more business?
Vice Mayor, just a couple other things to mention. If you recall, we've been invited to take a tour of the County Archives building on September the 23rd at 1 p.m. And also, speaking of the fire department, we'll have a hard hat tour of Fire Station 1 on September 30th at 3 p.m. See the progress on Station 1, how it's coming along. So,
Sounds good.
all right, thank you.
Anything else? Mr. Coleman?
I just want to thank our county commissioner for being here tonight, and candidates who are running as well. It's good to see, obviously, there's a new crop both coming up, and then just in general, it's good to see our county counterparts here paying attention and interacting with us. So I just appreciate the collaboration going on. So I want to recognize you.
And also one more thing, please, anybody that has not done their census, please go online and fill it out. Also, tell your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers.
I'm actually look past the online now.
Oh,
We're getting ready to.
well, I'm sorry
have-
then.
Well,
I'm
that's
getting
all
more.
right. You didn't know.
They're fixing to start coming to your door. You didn't fill it out online, they're coming to your door. So make sure you tell your people to answer your door because we need this census. It's vital for us, for the community, for us to get this census done correctly and on time. So please make sure you tell your neighbors, everybody to open their doors. That's all we want to do is answer a few simple questions. So thank y'all for being here. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank y'all.
How does your son like that?